Excellent. Hello. Hello. Sorry about that. We had some tech demons. Welcome to the Isbred Games channel. It's going to be a good goddamn night. I'm going to turn this game down just a touch, is what I'm going to do. Actually. Give me just 1 second, because I want everybody to be able to hear everything.
Like my resolve cracking in half. That would be audible, actually.
Oh yeah. I fully expect it to be.
Yeah.
There we are. Good. You know what? Yes. We'll leave it here with the Grey Knight staring at us. Anyway, hello and good evening. Welcome to the Isbred Games channel. My name is Jacob Burgess. I help run Isbred Games. I am a voice actor. I do a whole bunch of stuff on the internet. With me on Tuesday nights for Warhammer, we welcome back to the stream Ryan Ike. Say hi to everybody,
Hi.
Ryan.
Hello.
And what do you do on the internet?
I used to do audio for video games, primarily music. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm a composer. Sometimes I do sound effects. And that was what I did until tonight. And henceforth, beyond this point, will be when I just kind of do Warhammer and nothing else. And I'm just like a miserable pile of wet leaves with a bunch of source books in it somewhere if you root around. So that's going to be kind of me going forward. But up until now, I had kind of a career of sorts and a balanced life. Yeah, it was more well-rounded yesterday. So, sorry, what was your question? Did I?
No, I didn't really have one.
Great.
Really.
Yeah, it was more of a missive. Say your name and what you do.
Yeah, it was like, what do you do? Where can people find you on the internet? Because, we're Isbred Games. We're an indie game publisher. And we have this stream to hang out with the community. That's you. That's everybody out there. That's folks on our Discord. I invited Ryan on to Tuesday nights to just experience some Warhammer with me because this game is really fun. And I love XCOM type games, and this game is absolutely fantastic. And it's also a way to just show Ryan, to have Ryan experience some Warhammer, which is a thing that he should never get into. So in that vein, because I am a good friend, we've invited on a very, very special guest who, beyond all reckoning and good sense, has agreed to be here. Oculus Imperia, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself to the Isbred Games community?
Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me on. And thank you for letting me also just be a disembodied floating head up here on the top corner of the screen.
Of course.
It's very kind of you. My camera setup is less than adequate. Excuse me. I am Oculus Imperia. I run a Warhammer lore YouTube channel where I take a diegetic approach to lore, in that I pretend to be a future historian somewhere in the depths of Holy Terra, talking about whatever he can find about the lore of Warhammer 40k, and also in his more hallucinogenic states, the Age of Sigmar.
Those are some of my favorite.
It's a neat little way of doing it. I totally lifted it from the old Realm of Chaos books, but it's a good concept, so why the hell not?
Why the hell not? It's kind of the theme of this evening, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you, for folks that may not know, can you explain what diegetic means?
Diegetic is in universe. Basically, Oculus exists within the 40k universe. If I was to be uncharitable about myself, I'd call him a fanfic insert. But for me, it was a wonderful opportunity to explore the lore from points where greater context can be offered. When you're talking about something from an in-universe perspective, you're bound up by all of the restrictions and biases and viewpoints that might, might just be a part of someone's life in that. So it offers a unique way of exploring so rich a universe, while also just giving myself a character to play around with.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. Real quick, Jacob, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Chat is
Nope,
saying that
don't do
Oculus
it.
and I are
Don't
both
do
a
it.
little on the quiet side.
Nope.
Don't do it.
Nope, don't do it. I'm already doing it. I'm already on
It's
it.
done.
It's not done. I'm just on the way
but
doing
I
it.
did it. Okay.
Well, it's done, but you didn't have to. I got it, and I appreciate
How
it.
am I-
Because
how
I'm
did
also
we-
looking at chat. I'm doing things. I know
Is
what's
there a
up.
fucking like umpire style signal that we agreed on and I forgot about? That means I see that chat is saying the volume's bad that I missed because like
No, just I
just
got it.
trust you.
Yeah, this is my job, baby. This is my job. No, truly, I appreciate it. I actually thought you were going to tell me that I got to change the thing. But yeah, don't worry. Like, if there is an audio problem, chat will let you know. Like, it's you can trust in that. I've already gotten tagged on stuff. Like, let's see, Skylar Ringtail already did it. Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, I chances are I'm going to see it. You don't have to worry your pretty face about it. But something that I'm actually very curious about, and we talked a little bit about this in a previous conversation, Oculus, but like I know why I love it so much and got so hard into Warhammer in these past 4 months. But what is it that you like about Warhammer? Like what gripped you with it? Because my journey in like the World of Darkness and stuff, and your journey in Warhammer are very very similar. So can you kind of tell us some about that? Because your channel's fucking great.
Thank you. Oh God. I mean, I have been in Warhammer for 2 decades now, ever since like my first year in what Americans would call middle school, what Irish people would call secondary school, when a friend of mine who had been into it handed me a copy of White Dwarf, which is Games Workshop's like monthly magazine. It had in it an article called Index Astartes, which was the histories of the various Space Marine chapters and legions. This one particular was written by Phil Kelly. It was about the 8th Legion Night Lords, and it was, to my like 13-year-old brain, the single grimmest, darkest, most incredible piece of writing I'd ever experienced. It was I'd read Gormenghast a couple of years before that, because I'd read Lord of the Rings and just was devouring everything. So I went from high fantasy and like the Star Wars sci-fi and the Star Trek sci-fi to this thing that was just gothic in the extreme, and it kind of just blew my mind. And like that third edition early 2000s aesthetic has always been the thing that stuck with me the most about it. And even the background of my desktop is one of my favorite pieces of art by I think it's by Karl Kopinski, and it's just dripping in that insane gothic atmosphere. And like aside from the richness of the lore and the compellingness of the characters and the sheer coolness of just big sci-fi wars, I don't know, there's just something about the insane lunacy of it that is just so compelling. Not to mention that line where at its best it treads between hilarity and horror,
Yes.
as I think a lot of the best horror will do, where it's ludicrous to the point of insanity. I guess that was a long-winded way of explaining something about my past.
Oh no. That was
we're a couple of windbags around here. That was great.
Yeah. Just like don't you, we could start a bagpipe factory. Like don't even worry about that.
But yeah, that's how I got into it, and ever since then it's just been on and off. I was in the tabletop game for a whole lot of time, and then when I emigrated, I had to sell all my armies, and then at some point over here in Canada, I just picked everything back up again, and yeah, it's been on and off in a very sort of always in the background, sometimes in the foreground kind of way, and then ever since Oculus, it's just been go.
Yeah. What made you start the channel?
The channel was started at what was basically the nadir of my life. I was waiting for Canadian immigration to get me my permanent residency status, and I couldn't work. I was basically here on visitor status, doing like everything I could to just wait it out and get on with life. So I was watching a lot of YouTube, because what else do you do when you got nothing to do? And I was trying to be useful. So I was trying to teach myself audio and video editing, because why not? Might as well work on a skill you can work on your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that the only way of really doing that, like you couldn't just watch YouTube videos endlessly, you had to find something to practice on. And I found the only way that I could find something to practice on was if I gave myself a project. And it just kind of emerged out of that. Like I was just thinking, hey, how can I apply myself? And I was, still reading a lot of Warhammer stuff and watching a lot of YouTube and seeing Warhammer YouTubers, and it just all kind of clicked. I was reading a lot of the Horus Heresy books from Forge World, not the Black Library, the old like Horus Heresy rule books.
Yep.
And Alan Bly had this incredibly cool way of doing lore that spoke to me as a history student from the past. It all just kind of clicked. It's like, hey, how about I do a fake historian in the future, and let's just give it a go. It gives me something to write. It gives me something to narrate. It teaches me video editing. It teaches me audio editing. It teaches me all of this stuff. And it kind of took off.
Yeah. I would say so.
I would say so too.
It kind of became a thing. But that's how it. That's the Oculus story. I got my big break thanks to the 40k lore subreddit. I posted a video about the creation of the Space Marines, and everyone was like, "You talk too damn fast. Slow down." And I'm like, "I'll take that under advisement." And ever since then, it's just kind of been up and up and up and up.
Your pacing, your diction, and the vocabulary choice that you don't talk down to your audience at all, like, is fantastic. And no friggin' joke, I've listened to your channel every day for the past 2 months. Like, either on my way to work or not on my way to work, but on my way to driving my very real Canadian wife to her very real Canadian job. Just in the car, or like while I'm doing dishes and things like that. Like I just finished the Magnus the Red, like the last part of the give me a second. I have a little bit of aphasia going on. Nope, it's not Octarius. It's Prospero. Yes.
Yep.
Prospero. Prospero. Thank you. And then you putting them all into one mega video. I'm just gonna listen to the whole damn thing again. Like it's 3 hours long. It's so good. It's so fucking good.
That's a little thing I did for the algorithm, but also for ease of consumption.
Yes.
Like it was never going to be something that was going to be possible to do in one video unless I, dedicated 2 months to working on a single one, because I gotta pace out my time. But I'm happy that people have been, responded to the fact that I've dumped it all in one 4-hour thing.
Oh, 100%. Like, and it's all the art and everything that you pick, like, it must take forever to put one of the videos together, because the art that you choose is so damn appropriate to what you're actually saying and backs all of it up. And you have picked some amazing freaking pieces. Like, and, Warhammer's got 20 years plus years deep of art. Like, holy shit. Like, yeah. So
I try to find stuff that, fits the tone, which is not always easy, because sometimes there just isn't something and you kind of have to improvise there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, one of the things that I found is that just having the sheer amount of, time in this, like 2 decades of experience in the universe to draw upon, is that, like, finding stuff isn't necessarily difficult, because I remember the artists' names and I remember the things, and, a couple of search strings on Google and you've got it.
Yeah.
Not to say that time doesn't go into finding the perfect piece for the perfect scene. But,
of course.
It's a thing.
Yeah, but the attention to detail is just fucking bananas, dude. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I haven't kind of let Ryan dive into it, because I know he'd be. Yeah, it's just.
You'd be what?
You'd
be what, Jacob? Finish the sentence.
No, it's cool. No, it's. I don't think I need to. Really, no. I think it's gonna be a good time for you. Very good time for you.
The word you're looking for is immolated. I will cease to be.
I will be born anew like a phoenix. Oh, Ocelot, one of our amazing moderators, just gifted a tier 1 sub to Ali Soybean Appears. That is a great name.
It's a very good name.
Welcome to the
Excellent
channel,
name.
and they just gave us a follow, so thanks a lot. Yeah. So what do you know about this game, Oculus?
Oh, I mean, I've been playing it. Huge fan of XCOM.
Oh,
Seeing that we're gonna get, with seeing like it got announced and the fact that it was going to be an XCOM game, I was just like, okay, oh god, please be good. And then when it came out and it's it like its art style I found to be very compelling because it felt like the models themselves were like
yes,
kind of moving around. Like
yes.
it didn't try to like it kept a kind of cartoony aesthetic, but it like felt in a very tabletop kind of way.
Oh,
But even besides that, I just found it an incredibly fun and solid tactical experience, and tactics games are just my absolute crack. I can't get enough of them.
you and me both, my brother. Oh, you and me both. Oh Lord. And just I do want to give one shout out because the to the person that actually helped set this up and put us in touch. One of your moderators, I believe, and one of our fans, one of our community members, a generic account name, who just gifted you a sub.
Oh,
Thanks for
you.
putting us in touch. Just a big shout out to them for helping make this happen. Because they're also Ryan's chat nemesis.
Again, very sure, based on the interactions I've had here, that they're a wonderful person in real life. But they can get wrecked anytime they want because all they do, like they spent one entire chat where I was trying so hard to. This was the seed of our rivalry. Where they spent every time I would see something cool happen in this game and be like, I should performatively not ask about that because that would ruin me to know more about this thing. Generic account name would come in and be like, actually, and then here's this related detail that is really evocative and cool to me. And I was like, it was just like, it was bad news. It was they have a very encyclopedic knowledge of this game, it would appear, as well, and they are using it actively against me.
using it for pure evil, as all lore knowledge must be used.
Right. No one's ever used lore for good. That's been proven. Can't be done.
I sure haven't.
God,
No,
no.
can't relate.
Yes, and I apologize is maybe the right word because it is going to just completely destroy my life. But I have not seen your channel yet, partially because Jacob has forbade me because he knew it. I don't have any self-control when it comes to this shit. Like my famous thing that Jacob got me into is Vampire the Masquerade, as I was telling you in the chat. Helps that he is genuinely, and this is the only compliment anyone will ever hear me give him out loud. A really good,
Fair.
really wonderful storyteller. Obviously, he writes on that game too. He just had been involved in it his whole life, but he just like. I got real lucky that one of my first major tabletop experiences was like one of the best ones I'm probably ever gonna have. Where it was like, oh shit, there's like music and like weaving everything into like my own personal experiences as a human being. And my character was just like, holy shit, like I became obsessed really fast, and I do very very deep, some would say inadvisable dives on things. Once I get, I wasn't just like Vampire the Masquerade is really cool. I can't wait till we play again. I was like, I'm gonna learn every fucking thing I can about this game to the detriment of. Not quite my hygiene, but that's what I'm worried about.
Sanity,
if I do it
hygiene,
again. Yes, correct.
relationships, career, finances.
That's sort of where I'm at. I have PTM. I have a few other things Jacob's got me into that have become lovely, wonderful pillars of my life, and I can't do it again, as I've said on previous streams. Something else?
Yeah, you say that.
Marriage, eating healthy, remembering the names of my immediate family. Something else in my brain has to topple for this to get in there, and that's. I just want to know if like you've ever ended a life before, not literally, but kind of metaphorically. Are you comfortable doing that tonight? Kind of me coming out of this stream, not as much of a whole adult because I'm really into Warhammer.
Oh, you
You
see, the
okay
thing
with
is
that?
about that is that like in order to do that, I will just you're asking me like I'm gonna talk about Warhammer lore and it might have an effect on people. Like that's just I don't there's no drawbacks to that for me. There's none whatsoever.
Okay.
It's all good.
So it sounded like if I like never literally make it to the bank before it closes again in my life because I'm obsessed with Warhammer, you're fine. You feel nothing.
I don't because if like I don't because to any sort of like getting into addicted to the lore of Warhammer is the least ruinous aspect of any sort of Warhammer obsession, because if you get into the hobby side of it, oh boy, then you're gone. Then it's like remortgage the house. You got resin and plastic to buy. He needs a Stormbird. He needs a he needs a he needs a Warlord Titan.
Those all sound like really evocative names for things I'm gonna think are really cool, though, and that's what I'm scared about. Is that I don't know that I can. Do you feel it is possible for people to stay on that divide of the line where they can just get into the lore and be like, I don't need to paint minis. I don't need to mortgage things.
Yeah.
In actuality, yes, I do, because like my first like top tier patron is steadfastly and has always steadfastly only ever been about the lore, and consistently derides those of us who degrade ourselves by painting miniature plastic men.
And yet,
which is, his loss.
What are you gonna do about it, right?
Yeah. You can, you can. It's gonna be tough though.
Yeah. I always feel with this hobby specifically, like there are three like pillars or three like points to the Triforce of the whole thing, which is your hobby side, your gaming side, and your lore side. And everyone who is in Warhammer exists somewhere along that spectrum. Somewhere between those three cardinal points you will lie. And some people are all about the lore and don't give a hoot about the gaming or
you can swear.
Some people don't give a fuck about the gaming or the painting side. Some people are just all about the hobby and, can't tell a Sister of Battle from an Eldar Harlequin. Some people are all about the gaming and will buy an entire army of Eldar Harlequins, paint them in 3-tone with an airbrush to the extent that by the time they hit the gaming table, the paint's still wet. And some of us kind of lie somewhere else in there.
Yeah. So it's going to be really fun to find out where Ryan falls, especially because there's a group of Canadian...
Is the operative word.
That's very true. There's a group of Canadian comedians up here called Loading Ready Run. You may have heard of Desert Bus for Hope. They're involved in that. And they're based here in Victoria, BC, where I'm at. And and I'm friends with them, and I've performed with them and stuff before. We're actually every Wednesday at 5 p.m. we're going to be playing Kill Team. And it's the first time that I've ever actually played Warhammer, because I bought some I was like, I'm gonna get into Kill Team because it's like the smallest thing, and then like completely separate, they saw that I had just posted that I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing, just on my Twitter, and then one of them reached out and were like, hey, I think we're gonna do that, do you want to come and play? And I was like, fuck yes, absolutely. Like, try and fucking stop me. If you didn't invite me, I would just walk in and be like, it's Orkin time. Because I bought some orcs and have really enjoyed painting them. I bought some like tester ones. It's gonna be a good fucking time. Ryan, I don't know that you're not gonna be able to at some point get at least a mini, because
it's especially true because Games Workshop have done a lot of great work in the past, 7 to 5 years about trying to make their systems as accessible as possible and exist at every level. Like, you can get everything from, like, I would say Warhammer Underworlds would be the start, like simple warbands with incredible sculpts and a nice tight competitive system, and then you get up to Kill Team, and then there's Warcry, and then there's Necromunda, and then there's the games themselves, which are working ever more to be able to be played at different points levels. So it's not like back in the day where it's like, you want to play this game? Okay, cool. You need an entire army just to have fun. Like,
you can buy a box and play a game.
Yeah, they have made a lot of really nice gateway drugs. So
that's genuinely, I'm
one
always
of them
in
got
favor
me.
of that. One of them got you. Just to look, of course, was Jacob's kind of running catchphrase. Was I'm going to the game store near my house to see all the Warhammer stuff. Just to look, of course, in a private chat, and then came out with a fucking. But I'm not worried, even though I love that they have entries at all kinds of different levels for different players' level of investment, because I am historically really good at setting boundaries for myself than just sticking with them. That's the thing. I'm definitely known for.
Yeah, same.
Definitely known
No,
for doing that.
no issues with that at all.
It seems like no one who was good
It's
at
definitely
setting
the
boundaries
reason.
would start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely the reason that I'm not on camera is because my entire room here is filled with paraphernalia.
just shame piles.
I'm genuinely horrified at the amount of paraphernalia you have to be known for Warhammer lore, come on a stream about Warhammer to share that lore, and still be like, yo, they can't see all this shit.
They can't see it. They can't see it. It's too much. They'll see the copy of the original Rogue Trader rulebook that I got for $5 somehow.
So there's somebody in chat that is helping me out with some oh god
Some what?
custom parts for my kill team, because I have, in kill team you can buy equipment for your folks, but I have one figure that doesn't have the equipment on it, and I don't like that. Because
you're very much a what you see is what you get type of dude. And that's no problem with that. That is an admirable dedication to consistency.
Because if I buy, I like detail and consistency, and continuity and everything. I don't judge other people that are just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, like, I'm playing with dimes. Like, okay, cool, great, we can still play the fucking game if they're all dimes. I don't give a shit. That's for you. For me, here's what I want. Because if my orc knob, if my leader, if I buy the equipment that they have a boss pole, I need one.
You're gonna want to have a boss pole.
Yeah, I gotta have a boss pole. And if they have a combi, like rocket shooter, I want that. It's gotta look. You gotta have it. I gotta have it at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not judging other people that are just like, fuck it, we're just playing by the rules and I don't give a shit. But yeah,
so someone's helping you out with 3D printed parts.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine. Because
Yes.
that's every gaming group across the nation, across the world is
Yes.
doing that right
Yeah,
now.
I won't print like the actual minis, because that's like, I work in video games and piracy is bad. And I also work in tabletop, and I don't want people to download PDFs of my books and things. So
Mm-hmm.
but like bits and bobs I can't get otherwise that are custom done. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
no,
yeah.
I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. If they don't supply the part.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm going.
It's interesting because one of user in the chat asked about like looking up Warhammer just like in a quick Google search and not knowing what is standard and what is custom. That is quite honestly one of my favorite things about the hobby.
Yes.
That sheer degree of creativity that you can just take the kits and make whatever you want with it.
It's the in community term is called kit bashing, right?
Kit bashing is converting is usually like it's the term that I'm more used to. Kit bashing is definitely it as well. I think that's very applicable to the Gundam or the Gunpla hobby too.
Yep.
Like I for one, like I can't do an army without putting some sort of customization spin on it. Like I have an ogre army for Age of Sigmar that's like the ogres in Age of Sigmar tend to have this kind of icy aesthetic, like Ice Age kind of thing. They're all fur pelts and like snowy monsters. I've taken that and just put it into a bog because I'm Irish, so my desire is to make things horrible bog monsters, and it works. But it's also mine, and I like it for that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Like I every one of my orcs has a hint of purple on them. Like, because I'm like, this is mine. And I like that the galaxy and Warhammer is big enough to make things yours. And it still works and fits without it being like, I'm the best. I'm the hero. I married Naruto. Like,
That's good.
yeah, it's, I mean, they're both hotties. I don't shit on people that write self-insert fan fiction. but
It's what
it's not
it's
my
what I
thing.
like to it's what I like to call like the your dudes paradigm,
Mhm.
where it's like they're all your dudes, guy. Like just have fun. Like this is the thing that you do when you're not at your day job. You paint your figures, you make your armies, you play them, or you just display them. They're your things. Do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like a big tent in any kind of game at all, really, but especially in tabletop. I like when they allow for customization. I like when the community itself gets to do it, and like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the actual, in-house rules like encourage that. The devs encourage it. Like it seems like that's the vibe.
I
here.
wouldn't say the devs encourage it in this case.
Well, what are they gonna fucking do about it though?
Like, I will say this. I will only say this is that like again, been in the hobby for 20 years. I
Mhm.
knew Games Workshop back in the day when they were an absolute and utter black box. Like, you didn't even know what was getting released until a week before it was getting released. There were no teases. There was no hints about. There was no transparency whatsoever. The paradigm shift that happened in the past 5-7 years has been just mind blowing to me. How much more how they admitted that the internet exists and that it's a way to like cultivate and develop a community. Still ways to go, but like the difference.
But they're
is,
doing it.
The difference is stark.
Even
is
looking
absolutely
through some of the old like lore and kind of catching up and literally being like, Warhammer's how old? Holy shit! And like going
Yeah.
back and like looking at all the books and things, you can see that shift happen even in the novels. Like you can see that shift happen like around 20, because I've been looking up books to read, because why the fuck not? Fuck me, right?
4 months and you're already reading the novels. Like
I already read a
I'm-
novel.
I'm fucked, man.
I already read a novel. I'm literally reading. I'm halfway through. I'm just reading every orc novel I can get my hands on in the past 7 years.
Just be sure to ask me for the recommendations.
Of course.
I'll say that.
Yeah. Don't. No. I. You made that offer, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And you said yes, and that was your one out, and now we're friends. So,
You made a huge mistake. Oculus. You really
Terrible.
fucking. I'm sorry. I didn't try
you-
hard enough to stop you, and honestly, it's my fault.
You mean I have to give my opinions about things, and that's somehow a bad thing?
Oh no, it's the whole "you're friends with Jacob now" thing. I tried to stop it, but I could have tried harder, and I'm sorry. That's always there's no coming back from it.
our Ryan and I mutual friend and amazing video game sound designer Cash the Car is in the chat. He's the guy that we game with a lot, and has jumped down the Warhammer hole with me because we kept going like, you know what, we can't let Chaos win. We should both go in on the Arcturus box together, and that was the start of it. And then it's just been, and then this happened. This stream.
Oh, so they got the
happened.
Krieg sculpts, and you got the orc sculpts.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
That's such a good box on both sides. Though.
It's so
Amazing
good.
design work.
Oh, and Krieg is so fucked up and horrible. Said you always have one out with Jacob, and no one ever takes it. And Ryan and Akash have a joke about me. One of the things that they say quite often is, my first mistake was talking to you. So
True.
we're friends now.
True.
Yeah. I've got to shout out some. Not Cain nor Abel has subscribed and has done so for 29 months. Thank you very, very much for the support. Said, "Oh no, I'm 29. One more month and it's all downhill."
That is correct. I fully
36
verified.
and-
It's all over. It's
Wait!
all over. Sorry about it.
You get a vestigial organ that doesn't do anything. But it
I-
always smells kind of bad, and they can't remove it. So look out for that.
No matter how hard they try.
It's like
I'm-
31, 32. Yeah.
I'm
Nice
42.
there.
I'm still having a
look
good
great.
time.
You're an outlier. You're a fucking weird data point who's like, there's this one asshole who's still doing good. But boy, the rest of us, huh? It's because you are fueled by how much my life is fucking sliding down the goddamn mudslide of your fucking mania and everything.
And I'm
you
here to
like.
help with that.
And we have a first-time chatter, Alpha Eridani. Alpha Eridani says 3/4 of my whole library is just Warhammer. Yeah,
That is a good library.
yeah, yeah. And Hoktari just gifted a tier 1 sub to Red Mage Against the Machine.
It's a very
Red Mage
kind
Against the
and it's a
Machine
really
is
good name.
genuinely iconic. I wish
Oh,
I thought of
man.
something like
Extremely
that.
good.
Hoktari, community member Hoktari says, I found it a while ago and keep subbing because Jacob laughs every time.
It's fucking good.
Every time I think that the internet has given me every username that I look at and be like, that's fucking clever. I'm jealous. Another one comes along. I love that.
One of my favorites that I ever saw was Lady Earl Grey Warden, who was a community member, which
Oh, that's wonderful.
just so
That's
good.
wonderful.
Amethyst just subscribed and has done so for 36 months, and also is one of the people, just amazing. One of our Spirit Squad members, one of the volunteers we go to with cons, and did a bunch of our emotes. They're wildly talented, and we've done some more work with them, which we will be revealing in the coming week. I hate NDAs. I fucking hate them. I hate them. So, shall we actually play some game?
Yeah, do.
So,
Sure.
Ryan, you weren't here last time. So our big thing was like, find the seed. You know, get Nurgle's seed, research the seed. We got that. We did that. And our Inquisitor friend then used the seed to psychically trace where these seeds were coming from. And you'll notice on the screen here, this is where they're coming from. This is an Eldari craft world that we have to go to.
I was gonna say Eldari Craft World. Yeah. Tip of my tongue. I was just about to say that.
Right there.
But then you said it first before I could say it.
Yeah, I get it, and thank you. And then we're just gonna ignore this side of the map. Okay, so
I didn't even see that.
yeah, it's fine.
There's a problem there.
No, it's
fine.
No, it's okay. It's just it's a warp storm, and it slows down your craft.
No.
And
no,
everything
it's
that's in
not.
it is worse. And that's
swamp gas.
and that's okay. Yeah, everything's fine.
I didn't know the map could do that. And
I didn't either.
And it sort of. This feels blamey, but it kind of wasn't doing that when I took 1 week off the stream and wasn't here. Like when I left the map, it didn't.
Yeah,
have the icky.
I know,
It
and you
wasn't doing
don't,
this.
and you don't have to blame yourself from not being here to be able to prevent it.
I sort of am the bulwark keeping the entire galaxy's free people at bay.
So you're the emperor. That's good.
Well, do you actually want to pause?
That's actually not good at all.
No, it's not.
That's one of the only pieces of Warhammer lore I actually know. They gave me this little seed. Seed. I didn't mean to do that, but there it is. Because Oculus, I'm similar to you. You mentioned earlier how you love like bleak, dark kind of elements and stories, and like to the point where
Yes.
all my friends and family make fun of me for this because I'm a stupid clown in real life, but like I love stories like that. And Akash and Jacob, Akash, our friend from chat, Jacob, the monster right there.
Hi.
Basically, like, we will not tell you about Warhammer lore because we know you can't be responsible with it and that you'll hurt yourself. But let's just say this one thing so we know you'll like it. And they just told me what the Emperor's whole deal is. I shouldn't say whole deal to a lore master, but, they told me, like, what his basic kind of deal is. And it really fucked me up real bad because that sounds really sad and awful. It's like, what, 10,000 people a day they sacrifice to keep his psychic carcass going? Something like that?
1,000, but
That's still
it's
too
still
many.
one.
One is
It's
too many.
1,000 people over 1,000 people a day for 10,000 years.
That's a
And
lot of
it's-
zeros.
And
It's great.
and the best part about it is that it's failing, and they don't know how or why, and they can't stop it.
Why do I
Yeah.
like that? Why does that make it more interesting? That it's
I don't
not
know.
going good?
There's something about a minute to midnight that's just really compelling.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to take a little stop by Fides too.
Do we?
We do before we head on to the craft
Their
world.
stinky plague bed, and they kind of should sleep in it because
3 days. It says you have 4 days. Nyuk nyuk.
Yes, this was the right choice.
It's a low-hanging fruit, much like myself. Please God, land on the planet before I can say anything else.
Ah, very good.
Very good.
Oh,
Hanging fruit is Jacob's entire brand, so you're gonna do great here.
well, I think he was saying that.
Oh, I got it.
He was. Yeah. Okay. Good. All
I
right.
got it. I'm just saying, as jokes go, you tend to like to live, sort of.
I would like to
I
thank
like-
generic account. I would like to thank generic account name for running the math and saying that it is 3,652,500,000 individuals sacrificed to the emperor thus far, and that's not presuming that he has like hungry days, which he might.
When he hasn't had his Snickers, then he's not himself, and he needs to down a couple extra thousand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like he's like, yeah, ostensibly Turkish, like. Maybe he just needs some, maybe a good kebab every now and again. But he can't. All he has is souls.
Yes, his souls. Jacob, also, I want to clarify, you're very smart, and you make me laugh all the fucking time. You just also like, this word sounds like this word. You like those too. You like all kinds of jokes.
Yeah. Wordplay
Yeah.
and puns
That's what.
because they're clever.
Well,
Jaded Cynic is absolutely right. Every one of these individuals are psychers. They're not just
Yes.
humans. They are psychic individuals, which are as a rarity, even amidst a population so large.
oh, see, this is me being so new to this world that every fucking person in this game has psychic powers because I get it. They're an elite, union of knights. But I was like, just wondering, like, if that's a common thing, and I guess that's not the case.
No, it is not, and that's the thing that one of the things that makes the Grey Knights so special is that not only are they all of them psychers, they are all of them psychers who are capable of becoming Astartes. So that is cream of a crop of a cream of a crop. Like gene seed implantation is not an easy procedure. It often results in failure, and the Grey Knight's gene seed is also not an easy one because it's so rare. So they're truly in universe. They are supposed to be the absolute pinnacle of the elite.
Yeah.
Just below the Custodes, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That's badass.
See how I can't
Bit more
talk
than
about
ever.
something without going like, well, here are all the exceptions to it.
That's what you're here for, though. It's like that's the shit that we want. Like, I want to know the exceptions. I want to know the. I mean, I don't. Again, every word that comes out of your mouth brings me closer to complete annihilation. But like, whatever is happening at this point, so I might as well like enjoy it. Cool. Damn.
Well, I mean, if you want your mind blown, do you know how the Grey Knights actually came about?
Please, I do not. I don't. I know very, very base level. Like, I have been trying to protect myself this entire time. Like, most things you say will be news to me. So please.
So the reason that the Emperor is on the Golden Throne is because one of his 18 sons betrayed him and took 8 of his other sons against him, and it was a big war called the Horus Heresy. But right at the end of that, a contingency plan was developed for after, which basically ended with the Grey Knight's gene seed being created, and the Emperor's right-hand man taking the moon of Titan from Saturn, I think it's Saturn, and sending Titan into the warp, where it hung around for a while, and when it emerged, the entire Grey Knights chapter had been formed. Because time works differently in the warp to in reality. So they had been in there for like a few hundred years, whereas in reality it had only been a few decades. My memory escapes me exactly on how long Titan was in the warp for. But that's how it is. He basically just hothoused an entire chapter of super soldier psychic space marines to hunt demons inside the warp.
That seems really bad.
It's pretty out there. It's pretty out there.
I don't know much about this here warp yet so far. Doesn't seem great.
No, it's not. It's hell. You ever seen the movie Event Horizon?
Boy, have I.
Yeah. There's this like the long-standing and kind of fun like trope within the 40k community that Event Horizon is just a Warhammer movie of like the first time humans encounter the warp, because it's basically what it is. It is a ship that uses a propulsion device that sends itself through hell, because that's how space travel works in Warhammer. The only way to move faster than light is to take your ship and send it into a universe that exists behind, alongside, upside down to the material plane, and it's just hell. It is a sea. It is a sea of pure psychic energy that reflects, for some reason, negative emotions better than positive ones. And that's what the warp is.
I knew that, but I don't think it was completely articulated exactly like that before. Jacob's done a great job of also filling me in on this stuff, but like, I think somehow I wasn't putting together like this is hell, and that's so cool because it's such a neat twist on the. I'm ruined. I hear what I sound like right now. Like every sci-fi thing is like ships travel interstellar distances by going through some alternate plane where time moves different or the universe folds in on itself, but they've never just been like it sucks real bad in there, and everything.
Yeah, no,
it
sucks real bad.
To kill you.
Everything's made out of murder and like lemon juice. It's just just the absolute worst. Not to mention that within it you have intelligences like outer gods, essentially, just these self-aware hurricanes of pure psychic force that form cardinal aspects of negative emotions. And those are gods. Those are the chaos gods. Nurgle is one of them.
Self-aware hurricane of psychic force. That sounds really cool.
It is really cool.
Oh,
Could you
fuck.
phrase that in a way that sounds oh shit. Uh-oh. Well, that's new.
Shit is that?
Unless it's not new.
No,
from
it's
last week?
no, it's
New
new.
to me. It's new to me. Okay. Seems bad.
That is, I believe it's a Blighthauler. Please don't let me be wrong here. It is.
Fuck
It is a
duck.
Mephitic Blighthauler. It is a demon engine.
Oh, fucking
Oh
duck.
no.
Um,
Engine is really just those two words together. Like, what's
Yeah,
the plan?
so remember how I was talking about these self-aware hurricanes of pain and agony and torment?
I do recall something like that. Yes.
Uh,
Positively to that. Yes.
they form the pantheon of chaos, and the four chaos gods, of which Nurgle is one. The god of plagues, the god of maladies, the god of corruption, decay, all of those horrible things. From Nurgle are formed demons, lesser demons, little spiteful creatures in every way the demons that you would consider from like medieval lore. But the chaos factions in Warhammer have learned to do since the Horus Heresy is take demons and fuse them with machines. So instead of like a robot, you actually have a horrible creature from a dimension of pure pain running a robot, essentially. That's Demon Engines 101.
And it's never like a kind of objectively useful machine, like a standing mixer or a water pick. I assume.
No, it's always something covered in spikes and guns,
All right,
or mouths and teeth and eyes.
Jacob, I love the initiative. Oculus, around here, we've never met a grenade we didn't like.
Oh
you know.
no, the grenades in this game are just the absolute best.
They're so. It's never not satisfying.
No, never is.
I spent a lot of time on this show just trying to think of problems in my real life that I could not solve with a grenade, and so far I've not found one.
Yeah, no, it's very
The
few.
door to my refrigerator is stuck.
Yeah, the grenade will.
That's fucking
A grenade will solve the problem of the door being stuck. Whether or not it will solve the problem of what you want to eat within the fridge, that's a whole other question.
That's fair, but that's for later Ryan to figure out, and I hate that guy. That's
Yeah,
his
that guy
problem.
sucks.
Right now, door don't open. And I've got a palm-sized kind of solution, and I would like to pull the pin on it before I get too into the weeds on how much of my kitchen will be left. Will I get my rent deposit back? You know?
See, Jacob is trying to come up with a way of killing this demon before it does too much damage.
Before it
And
does
the teleport will absolutely be that.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught it, but we named this portion of our squad we've named after like people we know, we've named after friends of ours, we've named after each other, and this is chat. This represents all of chat, and they're great.
The grand tradition of XCOM. I also do love that chat is the one that just dives in and just hits something with a giant sword.
They've been instrumental to any success that we've had. Chat is the nightcrawler of our team, and anytime we need someone to warp into the rib cage of some monstrosity and explode out of it,
As
also,
I believe everyone on Twitch knows, chat is clutch.
correct.
Did I get that right? It's my first stream.
That felt great to me. I don't know shit about shit. That felt right. You're acing it. We're professionally wrong all the time. All you have to do is have the confidence to just not look anything up that you say, and you'll be gold. Plus, you're here to say like the thing you know everything about. So like,
anytime I'm
you're the most
professionally wrong on
qualified person
something, anytime I'm professionally wrong on something, the comments on my videos will never let me live it down.
Yeah, chat will always let you know.
Like I do in
Anything.
the Prospero videos, I did accidentally refer to Space Wolf wolf priests when I actually meant Space Wolf rune priests, and never living that one down. That one's gonna haunt me for the rest of my days.
Bloomspawn
Let's have
resilience.
something that. Sorry, Jacob. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, yeah, thank you. The Bloomspawn spreader draws power from feculent gnarlmaws in the area. Destroying the gnarlmaws first will make it easier to defeat the spreader. But take care not to delay too long. You fucking fine.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I hate those normals so much. They're so tanky and they just screw you up.
The name though is real. It does what it says on the tin. Their face.
The name
all
is
fucked up.
the name is very it's very modern Games Workshop naming conventions. The noun verb nouns.
The industry term.
It's a thing. But it is very evocative, and again, it's over the top and ludicrous, which is why we like Warhammer.
It always sounds like it came out of a high schooler's, like a punky, heavy metal loving high schooler's composition notebook.
And if that is not
Yes.
if that is not the definition of what Warhammer should be, I don't know what is.
That has been one of my favorite things about it, and any Warhammer folks somehow see this, or anybody mistakes what I'm about to say. Like, I love that notion of being like, when you're in high school or when you're like a teen, you draw something, you're like, this is fucking dope, and later you're embarrassed about it as an adult, like, what the fuck was wrong with me? Everything in here is that, except without the later part where you think it's lame later, because it just like is so revels in how over the top ridiculous everything is, and it's genuinely awesome, and I love that vibe so much about
Very much that's very much what I like about it too, and why I just get like there's always this thing about people within the Warhammer community might shit on, people are just like, they're memeing this, or they're memed that to death, or this is just a joke now, or blah blah blah, and it's like,
yeah.
Warhammer is looking at the things that you wrote in your high school journal and being like, that's not cringe, that's still cool. Like,
Yeah.
it is incredibly serious and incredibly stupid at the same time.
Yep.
And, like, it's almost an exercise in just shutting down the part of your brain that just wants to like say no, that's cringe, and just be like, just enjoy something for the sake of
something.
just enjoy something purely. Like,
Yes.
it's always been my philosophy online is like, never be like everything that's wrong with this. Just tell me about what you like. Don't tell me about everything that's wrong with something. We can talk about our friends with what's wrong with X till the cows come home, but tell me about things that you love tell me about things you love.
Yes.
Yes.
Fucking preach.
Jacob, just quick accolades on just quietly fucking up that normal on the background.
Thank you.
while we were
Yeah, without
talking
taking
about
any
medieval
damage.
war.
Man.
Yeah, holy shit.
Professional.
Yeah, Oculus, I talk a lot of shit performatively, like on this show, but honestly, like that's an attitude I'm trying to cultivate more in my recent years, and I appreciate and like that a lot. It's like, it's okay to criticize things, it's okay to have like sticking points, but like, why can't people just be more into like just celebrating liking shit? And if you don't like that thing, there's infinite things out there that are made exactly for you. Why not just go sell? It's okay to point that out, but I appreciate that attitude, and I like that a lot, and it's something I'm trying to work on. And I feel like this lends itself to it.
It's only because when criticism becomes the model, it's just like,
Yes.
are you going to lose the ability to just enjoy something authentically and like uncritically, or just be like, I'm aware of other things that are I'm aware of the issues with this. Like, yeah, it's dumb, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to have fun.
I feel like there's sometimes an inherent assumption online these days that
Fuck.
if you are just no, God,
There's another one.
I was talking about the philosophy of the internet, you jerkbag robot demon monster thing. No, that there's this assumption sometimes of if you celebrate a thing, that you are not aware of the things that could be better about it, or the things that might be problematic about it, or something. It's like, no, you can be aware of both those things, but you don't have to always just talk about that. You can just be enjoying the parts you enjoy, and it doesn't have to mean you're blind to what could be better about a thing. But like, why not? Just enjoy something.
The generic account name says that the most depressing job in 40k universe would be architect, since nothing you build is going to stand for long. Yes, architect of the 40k universe is right up there with like Gotham City event planner. Like nothing you do is going to go to plan. It's inevitably going to get screwed up somehow. Especially because architect in the 40k universe would mean that you're some scribe who's just like relentlessly pumping out the same building that's been built for 30,000 years, completely detached from the chain of human suffering that will actually make the thing.
Right. A running theme on this show is me watching this bleak, procession over and over, which I'm genuinely enjoying, and then asking Jacob, like, Jacob, can you imagine anyone in this universe just being like a barista and kind of quietly like wishing they had a better job but not hate it? And he's like, no, there's no baristas, there's only war. And I'm like, well, what if like somebody's like they blow glass and like they make glass blowing sculptures, and that's kind of like, there's no blown glass, there's only war. Like, is there any hint in the source material that you've seen of like people just living their fucking daily life, or is it only this stuff's the focus? Which would make sense because that's what this game is about. But like, do you get any picture of how people just live day to day when they're not involved in being, in Astartes or whatever?
The universe is incredibly large, and within that universe, there exists multitudes. I'm not necessarily a fan of the perspective that can sometimes get argued on the internet that states that like, oh, because the universe is so large, there's just a whole bunch of regular Earths, just with everyone living regular lives like we do now. It's like, no, that won't happen. The Imperium is a authoritarian, feudal, theocratic nightmare state. Like, you don't just get to have a regular life within that.
Right.
But at the same time, like, yeah, there one of the pioneering series in that regard was Dan Abnett's seminal Eisenhorn trilogy, which was one of the first like Black Library trilogies to take a look at 40k from the perspective of an Inquisitor, I think, and did so very much focusing on like, it was almost more like a crime procedural than anything else, obviously with a big like 40k twist to it. And you did get like little slices of life and snapshots of like what life in the Imperium is. It sucks. Like it sucks. It's like your best bet is that you'll just be some menial in some sort of role somewhere, and it'll be pretty okay. Like, you might have a nice, comfortable-ish thing, but you'll still be like completely at the mercy of anything at any point going wrong. Like, you could at the drop of a hat be drafted into the Astra Militarum. You could be press ganged into Adeptus Mechanicus Arc or an Imperial Navy vessel. You could simply be in the wrong place at the wrong time and get executed for some sort of suspected issue. It's not good. Like, there are plenty of people who will exist like in quiet day-to-day lives and never see a demon or an alien ever. In fact, they'll probably think it's just a myth, but it's not a good life.
Yeah, I didn't suspect there were a lot of people happy in this universe. Nobody is cracking open like the box set for season 5 of Frasier and just being like, I never watched this when it was on, but this Nigel guy, like, he's quirky, but I like him because you can tell he cares about his brother. And then that's the end of their story. Like, it seems like you're adjacent to suck all the time, if not directly in suck.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You're on the precipice of suck.
Jacob, excellent grenade.
Absolutely excellent.
Trying to clear that guy's cover so I could take him down.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't seem to do that. So, all right.
So, like, here's a good example. I was looking for this quote while we were talking. So basically, within the Imperium, in order to feed the billions and billions and billions of people that exist in this universe, the Imperium dedicates whole planets simply for the production of basic crops. So, like, think of a Midwest state, except it's planet-sized.
Okay.
And a lot of people in the fandom will sometimes like to point to those and be like, well, you could just be a farmer on an agri-world and, it'll be fine. You won't ever have to, like, you'll live a quiet life. It'll be all good. And a book called Lords of Silence by Chris Wright completely demolished that perspective with this little extract. I'm going to read as much of it as I can, so please stop me if this just goes long. All agri-worlds are of similar size, located in similar orbital zones within their void systems, and subject to specific exposure to a prescribed spectrum of solar radiation. Their soils have to be within the right compositional range, and they have to be close to major supply world. The Imperium is not a gentle custodian of such places. After the discovery of a candidate planet, the first 50 years are spent in terraforming according to well-worn Martian procedures. All pre-existing life is scrubbed from the rocks, either by application of controlled virus chewers or timed flamethrowers. The atmosphere is regulated, first through the actions of gigantic macroprocessors, and thereafter by a land-based network of control units. Rainfall becomes a matter of controlled timing, governed by satellites in low orbit and kept in line by fleets of dirigibles. Soon after this process is completed, every agri-world looks exactly the same. A flat, wind-rummaged plain of high-yield crops swaying towards the empty horizon. A person could walk for days and never see a single distinctive feature. Not that anyone would choose to walk in such places. The industrial fertilizer dumps are so powerful that they turn the air orange and would make it impossible to breathe. But it doesn't matter. Planet can be driven like this for thousands of years before it eventually keels over and becomes a death world, completely devoid of absolutely all life. There is a quaint tradition in the various propaganda departamentos of the Administratum marketing agri-worlds as quasi-paradises, free from the squalor and overcrowding of a standard urban station, and full of bucolic ease. Video cards are dropped into communal hab warrens, extolling the virtues of a life lived outdoors, with the sun on one's back, and the ruddy-faced boy or girl, subject to preference, by your side. In reality, life on an agri-world is as unrelenting, backbreaking, monotonous, as the vast majority of all other Imperial vocations. There are no trees laden with glossy fruit, only kilometer after kilometer of hissing corn. There are no gentle strolls under the warming sun, only punishing work details in radiation suits, leaning into dust-laden winds that howl around the equator with nothing to halt their rampage. Once the new arrivals have made planetfall and found this out, it is, of course, too late. Crew transports arrive on agri-worlds full and leave empty. There's a saying amongst the indentured workers. You come for the soil, and you end up part of it.
So it's an acquired taste, maybe.
So it's an acquired taste.
That was just a turducken of fucking shit, wasn't it? It was just like every time I thought we'd hit the bottom, it was like, no, you're not even close to the bedrock, idiot.
Oh no,
even know what that is.
It just goes. It just goes. But that's my point. That is a simple slice of life. It's like, oh, you thought it was going to be some sort of pastoral paradise. No, you're going to be wearing a radiation suit because the sheer amount of fertilizer that is in the atmosphere will kill you if you breathe it in. And you're never going to leave. You signed up for what you thought was something, but it was actually propaganda, and this is your life.
Basically described also my insides the last time I tried to have cheese curds without lactase. So I do feel like I have some insight into it. That's the Jesus Christ. Like you would assume, like working on a farm, even in horrible like mega future capitalist times, that would be like at least the least shitty you could get. But that doesn't sound great.
It feels like
as generous as I can get.
You know the opening scene for from like Blade Runner 2049?
Yes.
It's like that. That's how I see it. It's like you're just in this horrible suit rummaging around in mud for grubs, and you might have a little shack, but that's about as best as you're gonna get.
Jacob, what? Hey, sorry, I got distracted by.
Nah, it's cool. Everything's fucked. We're fine.
So.
Don't even worry about it. We're
It's
good.
looking a little bit hairy here.
I can't even shoot anything. No, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried. You're a brilliant tactician. You're great at tactics games. I trust you implicitly. I'm not doing a bit. We'll be fine. And, you know, if not, we can just sort of sweep this planet under the old galactic rug. Plenty more where that came from, and that's okay too.
Literally plenty more where that came from. Galaxy's a big place. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog speed
Yes.
with psychic powers.
Yes.
Bestow unto him psychic blessings.
Okay, you can't move because everybody's in the way. So everybody get out of the way. Okay.
Taking position.
What you got
Okay,
against you? Is it
there we
the
go.
sorcerers? Oh, they're such pains.
That's sort of been a running theme that I've been noticing in this universe based on this game, is that no one really uses their words. No, that's what
Yeah, they
sort
kind of
of
just howl.
there's a lot of gnashing of teeth and sort of inarticulate howling, but not a lot of like, let's sit down, you know, let's share a pizza and let's like hash this out. It's sort of always just kind of straight to the shooting and the moaning and the acid secretions and the mutating and the violence, you know. And I feel like, I don't know, why can't we just share a Coke and like just, you know, get on the same page about this? Why can't we just draw a line down the middle of the galaxy and Nurgle takes that half and he's the messy roommate, you know how he is, and then we get like kind of the more like neater sort of like, you know, particular side of the room. We just share the rent and everything's fine.
I can give you the fun explanation or the actual lore explanation for why that would happen, because there is one. There is one.
I think I'm gonna let Jacob call that one because I have been monopolizing all the lore treats.
I'm good. You go ahead, man. Make your call.
I want the real explanation.
Well, the Chaos Gods, they're not on the same side. They will always fight each other. And even in situations where they will find themselves aligned, such as during the Horus Heresy, for instance, their natures will simply not allow them to cooperate for too long. They will start fighting each other and they will start squabbling. Like, chaos is in the name. It is antithetical to order. Any situation where they are able to reach some sort of accord will inevitably break down into infighting and petty squabbles, because they play the great game with each other as much as they play it against mortals. It's a thing in the Age of Sigmar universe as well. Like, there was a whole time in the Age of Myth and Age of Sigmar where the blood god Cahorn was in ascendancy, and his fellow gods didn't like that at all and started to try and undermine him. And then the forces of order were able to make a comeback. It's the same here. Right as Chaos was about to win in the Horus Heresy, it started to just consume itself, as it will inevitably do.
Even the shitbirds who I am on the side of Jacob trying to conquer in this game, like, can't catch a break in this fucking universe, is what I'm hearing.
No one can catch a break. There are no breaks to be caught. It's just, it's all bad.
I'm gonna try to take some solace in the fact that our old buddy Nurgle can't get any peace either. Oof, boy, yikes.
Oh no! Is that the chat?
Yeah.
Oh no, the chat!
I believe in them. They can. Okay. Well.
Apothecary.
No, the chat's bleeding out.
Yep. But I made an error and I forgot Terminator armor couldn't climb.
Yep.
I mean, it's for going through shit, not going over shit. But I didn't know that either.
Motherfucker.
The Oculus, if you know some kind of super secret, just kind of lore thing that unlocks how to just make Nurgle's minions just kind of dissolve or quit and go home, or
No. No, they're in fact
Okay.
disgustingly resilient, and you actually have to do a whole lot of work to get rid of them. Grey Knights are about your best bet, but
that's sort of
yeah.
the opposite. I was sort of hoping there was like a poem you could recite or something that would lose
Yep.
the resolve. Or
At the very best, you could maybe convince Nurgle himself that something is narratively pleasing to him, but that usually will mean selling your soul to chaos, so that's not going to work.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of reasons why this.
A lot of
why
reasons
we're
why
fucked.
it's
I'm not hearing a
it's
lot
not-
of problem
yeah.
solving. sort
It's
of happening.
not going to work out great. It's not going to be a good thing for you.
Jacob, I approve of this plan. Plan being grenade. I haven't thought any ways past that, but I like where your head's at.
I do hate those times when you can't get the grenade to get exactly as many people as you'd want.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's...
Still, at least you took down that Overwatch. Or suppression, or whatever it was.
Yeah, suppression. Because now I can actually, like, get the hell out of here a little bit. Look at all that fucking armor.
It's so much. It's gross. It's.
Feculent, even.
Thank you. That's in the ballpark of what I was looking for. Yeah, it's ostentatious, I would say. Like, we get it.
Gotta keep those action points. There, he's free.
Generic account name earlier had said when I'd mentioned drawing a line down the galaxy, it happened, and I'm going to say this wrong. It's called the Cicatrix Maledictum?
Cicatrix Maledictum. You're dead right.
Well, they're dead right. I don't know what the hell that is. But
a few years ago with Warhammer 40k 8th edition, Games Workshop actually decided to do something quite revolutionary, and I don't want to say advanced the timeline, but moved the clock from like 3 minutes to midnight to 2 minutes to midnight. Where a giant warp rift basically split the entire galaxy in two.
Yeah.
And cut half of the Imperium off from the other half behind it. And you get Imperium Sanctus, which is the Imperium that still gets the light of the Emperor, this big psychic beacon on Terra to navigate their ships by. And then there's Imperial Nihilus on the other side of the rift, where everything's kind of hell in a handbasket. Like, the apocalypse has already happened. There's barely any faster than light travel. It's just all very bad.
Not even a scratch.
I'm sorry. A thing that you maybe need to understand about me is that anytime I gasp like that, it's genuine, and it's sort of moving. It's a signal that my own little doomsday clock is moving one hand closer to midnight, because like that is exactly my shit. Like, first of all, just double apocalypse. Like, hey, you know what this shitty, like, hopeless universe needs? What if things were like really bad, and then like just
what if things got
folding out-
worse?
Let's turn half the galaxy into one giant pizza that we dropped off the edge of the table right when we brought it home, and it fell definitely face down. Like, why don't we do that?
And it's opened up a ton of like wonderful narrative opportunities for like, okay, now you've got like, do you want to build your army as this army that's been trying to push into Imperial Nihilists to like cover some lost worlds of humanity, or save some artifacts or technology, or save people? Who the hell knows? Like it's great. Like it's changed the dynamic in a whole lot in a big way. And as you say, wait, how can this get even more hopeless? Oh well, we managed it. We made it.
Don't fucking test us, fans.
No,
right?
don't
We will
test us.
We will always dig further down if you push us.
Apparently,
That's
you
what a
can.
comment
The only thing is that it did somewhat set up an expectation amongst the fandom that like the timeline, so to speak, will keep getting moved. Because for decades it just didn't. It just stayed exactly where it was supposed to. And now it's like they've almost written themselves into a corner with like, where can we go from here? But I have faith in the creatives that they'll figure out ways of doing interesting things with it.
I feel like if any developers can just figure out what happens when the countdown clock to midnight gets to midnight and then just starts going into negative numbers somehow, fuck you. It's our clock. We do what we want. Like, they'll find some way to have the complete annihilation of all life not be the end of everyone's suffering.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the thing is about 40k is that like, it's not a story, it's a setting, as the old adage goes. Like, there's tales within it, and there's also all of this lore and everything like that, but it's not for the purpose of like telling a tale that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. the background and the history of the universe is a beginning and a middle, but the end, well, that's up to you. Unless, of course, they completely, like, prove me wrong there and just, end Warhammer.
Just literally just to spite you. Like,
Yeah, just despite
you can't tell
me
us what we can and
and,
can't do.
And themselves. It's like, hey, let's just end our most valuable property ever.
Jacob, how are we feeling? I'm sorry that I'm.
Don't. No, it's fine. I can.
There's a living font of all the knowledge that I've been denying myself asking this whole time. I'm with you in spirit.
I'm trying to figure out whether or not to just go after the Bloom Spawn Spreader completely, or try to kill these two that are doing rituals, which are always bad.
The ritual jerks have been very problematic for us in the past.
Mm-hmm. You got those sorcerers, you gotta get those buffs.
Yeah.
I think you gotta get
Yeah.
him, dude.
Take them out. Get them.
It's not saying that it's doing any damage.
Ocelot in the chat is asking if the yellow barrels explode as well, or I bet they're just
They
covered.
do not.
They're just cover, yeah.
They don't follow the age-old video game code of everyone storing their exploding paraphernalia in
Full cover.
In very visible locations.
Yeah. Usually near some sort of structural weakness or important enemy encampment.
Yeah, of course.
It's widely irresponsible.
Where else are you going to store them?
This sucks ass.
This is bad pizza. I don't like this pizza slice.
It's got pineapple on it.
Thank you for being brave enough to say it.
I'm so brave. I just here to spit the truth. Don't censor me. No, but for real, pepperoni with double cheese. That's the only pizza anyone would eat. Not that I don't love a good meat lover's pizza, but pepperoni with extra cheese.
That's a banger.
It slaps.
My wife is and has always been a pineapple on pizza person, and
Oh dear, is this a source of fractiousness?
well, like I already just beefed it by getting any lifelong relationship with her. I should have headed that off early, probably. So I've already kind of made like the sort of integral mistake. But she double likes it because it stops me from stealing her pizza. Like if we both order like a half and half and I finish my leftovers, it's Ryan deterrent. I won't cannibalize any of her slices. But I'm like, but you look what you done. Like, what's the point? Like, so,
Never.
yeah.
Embrace the taste.
Damn.
Oh, he's doing it.
It's a mark of how far into this lore I'm already getting that. That's the first time he said embrace the paint, and I didn't giggle like a stupid child. I'm just like, no,
I restrained myself because I was ostensibly in public, but I didn't know I could giggle at that.
No, please do.
Yes, please. The bar around here is much
Real
lower than
low.
you
You
think
could,
it is.
yeah, it's pretty much like it's shellacked into the floor.
Yeah.
Well, James Cameron couldn't even find it.
Ha!
Is this a chat that's excited for the second Avatar movie?
I actually don't know this chat's opinion on the second and don't forget third and fourth and I think fifth Kill Me Avatar movies that were coming our way.
I don't know. I always find James Cameron's Avatar to be just absolutely hilarious. Like one of the highest grossing movies of all time that made an absolutely negligible impact on any sort of pop culture. Everyone remembers seeing, but nobody remembers anything about.
Exactly. Yeah, I have not thought about Avatar like once, basically since I saw it forever ago. Like
There was a
have I
metal
been
called
on the occasional
unobtainium.
forum? There's unobtainium.
Quite literally, the only reason I think about it is because every now and again Jenny Nicholson will remind me about it, and it's like that girl's keeping the whole fandom alive. Good for her.
Like, have I thought about what it would be like to have one of those big blue aliens just kind of like wrap you up in a big muscular hug and like just kind of like bury you in their chest and like you can just kind of safely live there like forever while they kind of like ferry you through like the dangerous jungles of their homeworld, like no, of course not. But
No, of course. Who'd think about something like that?
you know that, but I'm sure there's people out there engaging with that rich in story fiction in some sort of way. I wouldn't know about it.
No, of course not.
No.
I actually meant to ask, Jacob, you
Yeah.
haven't played a game of Kill Team yet, though, have you?
Correct. Not yet.
Oh.
Tomorrow's my first time.
Oh, you're gonna like it. It's a very punchy system.
Awesome. Yep, I'm generally pretty good with systems and rules, so I'm playing a Greenskins team, and I figured out how to have a 15-person kill team.
Oh, dang.
It's mostly Grauts.
Oh. Listen, we love Grots. We absolutely love Grots.
We stand Grauts in this house.
Ryan, how much do you know about orcs?
Imagine that you know that they all sound like Jason Statham, and that's it. And they're fungi. I know they're fungus. So that's fun.
Yeah,
And-
they're Cockney mushroom thems. One of the most beautiful recent revelations about orc lore, thanks to Nate Crowley in the Gazgul Prophet of the Wa novel, which I recommend to absolutely everyone, is that orcs orcs have no concepts of gender because they're fungi. They don't like. Hang on.
Awesome.
I am finding this quote because it's absolutely perfect. All right. So here's a quote from the book itself. But before the prisoner's account could continue, the Death Watch veteran had one more bone to pick. Gazgul is a he grumbled, wagging a finger at Biter and receiving an uncertain grunt in reply. You keep saying they, but Gazgul is a he. But he is not a man, said Biter, their brow ridge creased in bafflement. Folks cut in before another messy debate could ensue. We've been through this. Orcs have no reproductive anatomy and consequently no understanding of sex or gender. Some of us understand sex and gender, interrupted Biter, keen as ever to demonstrate their unusual expertise in humans. I find it all quite funny. And like, it is just genuinely beautiful that there is a whole species of fungus, non-binary mushroom people just running around destroying everything as literally a means of life.
It's so good. Like, it just, everything I learned about the orcs, I used to make fun of Jacob for being like, playing this grimdark game about hard people making hard decisions all the fucking time. Everything's so bad. And then Jacob's favorite faction is like the stupidest clowns in the fucking galaxy. Except like, everything I learn about them like makes me be like, oh, maybe I'm the asshole here because they're the only people who seem happy and there's just an extra reason of like they figured out how to fucking escape the gender construct. Like they don't have to deal with that shit. They're just like, nah. There we are. Like, that's great.
Orcs are a biological weapon. Basically, millions and millions of years before humans had even evolved, there was a gigantic war called the War in Heaven. It was waged between the Old Ones, which are your proverbial progenitor race that underpin the entire Warhammer universe, and the Necrons, who are a race of basically Terminator robots who were once people but sold their souls to star gods in order to get unliving immortal bodies. As you do. In desperation, the Old Ones created the Eldari, they created the Orcs, known back then as the Krork, they created the Hrud, they created a bunch of different races in order to just fight the Necrons, because Necrons had technology, the Old Ones had psychic powers and genetic engineering. The orcs in the 40k universe are basically what happens when someone isn't around to run the hardware and software that makes up their weapon system, and it's just been running on its own for millions and millions of years. They're essentially genetically perfect. They don't need anything other than conflict to sustain them. Their biology is predicated around conflict. They don't need to eat, although they will, because it's fun. They don't need to drink, although they will because it's fun. They just need to fight. That's all their biology responds to. They reproduce completely asexually. They shed spores that end up growing in moist areas like mushrooms do, and those sprout into other orcs eventually. And they are just a self-replicating weapon system that's run amok for millions and millions of years and have a lot of fun doing it because they don't care about any of the big questions. All of it has been bred out of them. What use is a weapon system that has any, like... They don't even have cognitive dissonance. They are perfectly capable of possessing two ideas, no matter how contradictory within their minds, because their cognitive dissonance was literally engineered out of them because a gun doesn't need to worry about existentialism.
So what you're saying is, if I'm hearing you right, they're the perfect people and they are to be emulated by us in real life. Like they're sort of a tale on like what we could be. If we
To an extent, yeah. Like it's not like their society is like without its problems. They don't have, their culture is incredibly basic. Like they don't really have art or anything anything that humans would consider refined. They don't explore the nature of anything. They don't progress their technology. All of it is drawn from this essentially psychic gestalt that they all share. Like, their ability to build anything is bred into them. At a certain point in orc society, it will spontaneously generate an orc that knows how to build a combustion engine. And as more orcs gather and the psychic field gets stronger, that orc will suddenly then learn how to build spaceships. That's just how it works. It all works on scale.
They're just here to throw hands in the parking lot of the Galactic Denny's forever.
Hey, we're going to a different timeline.
It's just it's a Waffle House.
I
believe that's the reference
It
for
is a Waffle
Americans. We
Yes,
don't have those in Canada.
No, you've nailed it. Oculus, I don't want to alarm you, but this is a thing that happens on the show occasionally where we do shift into different time streams, as Jacob mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Save scrubbing is a proud XCOM tradition.
100%.
Special guest says it's okay. It's okay.
Hot goddamn right.
Yep.
Except I guess at this point I would be asking like why you're save scumming. Like what is there to reload? Like this is from what I remember, this is the beginning of the stream.
That's correct. You know what? You're absolutely no. You're right. I don't know what. Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
Now can I ask both of you a question? The door with the big like double-headed eagle on it. Does that look like heresy to you? Because I feel like it looks kind of heretical. Me. But I don't know how you both feel about it. Because.
Oh, as in placing the Imperial Eagle on something.
Just like it's I don't maybe. I mean, I just feel like it's giving off heresy vibes.
I agree.
I mean the eyes up top, the eyes and tentacles up top, absolutely. But.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're all in agreement, and the heresy's gone now.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you both. I feel a lot better.
Yeah. No, it takes the edge off.
Scratches the heresy itch.
Gotta kick that. I mean, yeah, the eyes and tentacles are still there. They're still looking. Damn shame. All you did was actually destroy an icon of the Imperium and keep the demonic presence still there.
Well, we're gonna take care of that. Actually, I wanted to do that for the bit, but that's not how I would have played that.
Thank you. Thank you for committing so much that we have to burn yet another timeline to the ground.
Just right to the ground. Now, because we're probably not going to get through this mission to get to the next, the actual story mission, could you maybe explain a little bit about to my good friend here, because we're going to be doing it next week, the Eldari and what a craft world is?
Happy to.
Thank you.
The Eldari are one of the creations of the aforementioned Old Ones. They are essentially space elves. They are one of the most psychically talented people in 40k. However, 10,000 years ago, they were responsible for the birth of the fourth Chaos God, Slaanesh. Their society had become utterly decadent, consumed by nothing except the pursuit of sensation in all of its forms, and the sheer amount of psychic energy that they generated coalesced within the warp until it became self-aware. The birth scream of Slaanesh like tore throughout time and space and killed like almost the entire race in one go. The center of their empire was like itself dragged into the warp and forms what is known as the Eye of Terror, which is this part of space where the warp and real space overlap. So it's just hell. Like, and in the middle of it, you have what are known as the Eldari like crone worlds, which are the original husks of their empire that once was. So on the 40k timeline, they're a race that is just dying. They're the last gasps of a species that once ruled the entire galaxy. Most of them that survive do so on what are known as craft worlds, which are basically city world ships, gigantic spaceships that are, the size of a planetoid, that house Eldar who have now dedicated themselves to an incredibly rigid and structured way of life so that they do not get tempted to follow the path that doomed all of their ancestors.
So they don't get all Slaaneshi.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm a naturally somewhat mildly theatrical person in the way I communicate. So I'm trying to figure out how to say this so that you'll understand I'm being as literal as possible. But like pretty much everything you just said is genetically engineered to fuck my life all the way up as far as like you basically just like kick flipped off of a skateboard from the top of the Empire State Building, did like an 840, I don't know the math on it. You did some kind of crazy non-Euclidean spin in the air and still turned around and fired a bullet around the world and still like made directly in like the Pizzone. Everyone else is clapping and I'm on the ground just moaning, covered in Warhammer books now. Like a thing that I'm very tired of, and no offense to anyone obviously who likes this, it's a great idea. I've just read a lot of it, but like in sci-fi, there was this progenitor race and they made these great works, but now they're gone. And look at all the husks of everything they made, but like they're a weird mystery, and I like that a lot, but it's just been done so much. But the idea of like a great race like that's still kind of clinging on, and like they're like this weird cautionary tale, but they're still around, but everything like they're in the process of that happening rather than it having happened billions of years ago.
Yeah, what
really
I like
cool.
what I like about Warhammer's take on the progenitor race is that they are so we're not like, this isn't like a Forerunner thing or a Prothean thing. This is like, no, they're so gone that we don't even like, we don't know what they look like. None of their structures exist, none of their technology exists. The only technology that still exists of them are like the Eldari and the Orcs. Like they're genetic
Yeah.
creations. Those are the ones that like, those are the things that still stick around. The Eldari are like not so much a progenitor race as like an ancient race, as you say, and they're a warning, but they're also incredibly vital in their own way, and they're quite compelling in that regard. And there's different flavors of them. It's not just the ones that exist on craft worlds. Oh yeah. So there are...
How many are there?
How many are there? Well, there's technically like... there's 4, maybe kind of 5 main branches. So there's a craft world Eldari that we talked about. There are the Dark Eldar, or Drukhari, who are Eldar that instead of like following people onto these world ships, fled into the depths of what is known as the Webway, which is like this weird labyrinth dimension that sort of exists through the warp. It is not in the warp. It is its own thing. They squat in this giant city called Comera in the middle of it. Basically just torturing and being as sadistic as possible because pain literally fuels them. That's kind of how they operate. So to avoid Slaanesh, the Drukhari have decided that pain and suffering meted out upon other sentient beings gives them enough energy to give them sustenance, and that's how they survive.
I'm.
That,
Thanks for asking. I'm doing good.
That's
having all.
that's the Drukhari, and then there are what are known as the Harlequins, which are basically like Eldar clowns, who are not evil and not good. They're very chaotic neutral.
I'm so sorry. Can you please rewind 1 second, one sentence, and just say the Eldar clowns thing again? Just
Eldar,
Eldar. Your microphone.
Eldar clowns.
Oh, you
Eldar
did say
clowns.
that. Okay.
No, I said Eldar clowns. They are a little faction of Eldar that dress in motleys and perform what could be war, but what could be theater. And that is how they keep the pre-fall Eldar culture alive. And they'll like go between the craft worlds, they'll go between the Dark Eldar enclaves, and they're just very weird and enigmatic.
So, fucking Warhammer 40k has an insane clown posse faction, and we're all just gonna not talk about. We're all just fine with that.
They quite literally have an ICP faction, yeah. Yeah, including the masks and like the painted motleys and everything. Like it's quite wild. And then there's a final faction who are known as the Exodites, who were basically like disaster prepper Eldar, who were just like, this society has gone awry. We can't possibly countenance any of this. This is going somewhere really bad. We're gonna go to the woods and like make our own honey.
We're gonna get off the grid. Okay, I can vibe
like,
with this.
Yeah, the totally off the grid Eldar who escaped to like completely pristine paradise worlds before Slanesh got birthed and have been attempting to live their best lives ever since, but that usually doesn't work out so well for them. They're actually the only Eldar faction that isn't like represented in models or anything. Every Eldar fan keeps hoping that they will at some point, but so far they've not gotten anything.
I'm just really struggling with how like a race of ancients with insane technology got fucked over so hard that they basically just burst into different factions of American reality TV. Like we got fucking that's Doomsday Preppers right there. The fucking we got the fucking Jersey Shore in the mix with the clown elves. It's just like how does your society
actually wait. Do you want to know the best part about the Doomsday Prepper faction?
I do.
They ride dinosaurs. Yeah, they strap like huge laser cannons to dinosaurs, and that's kind of how they fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's what the I've always wondered what the kind of nail in my like metaphorical coffin would feel like when it actually goes in. I didn't think it would be like a
visceral reaction to space elf dinosaur rider.
Jacob, how are you doing?
Great.
I'm doing bad.
How are
it's
you?
Going bad over here. By which I mean great, and we're all delighted to have you. But you are. There's got to be some Warhammer metaphor. Like, there's this bulwark on the hill that is slowly being worn down by the forces of corruption. Other than just every fucking facet of this universe, I suppose. That's what's happening to my resolve, and it's fine.
Yep, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, the fun part about this is the dinosaur riders don't have models, so you don't need to be tempted by that. You do, however, may need to resist the temptation for the ICP Eldar.
First of all, that hadn't even occurred to me, and second of all, like, I think you don't. The reason I had to set up all those mental fucking buttresses to stop myself from getting into this is because like you don't know what I'm capable of. Oh, there's not dinosaur models? Like, well, fucking, I will just find somebody with a lot of time and a lack of money and a 3D printer to, like, make me some fucking dinosaurs that, like, freaking Doomsday elves can ride. Like, I will leap over this fucking problem.
I maybe shouldn't say this then, because the old fantasy Lizardmen range, which is now the Age of Sigmar Seraphon range, has a lot of dinosaur models in it. And you just need to take some Eldar weapons and strap them on the dinosaurs. And then, oh honey, you have an Exodite army. Ooh. Terran 180 has asked, can we talk about the Kroot? Have you ever heard about the Kroot?
I have not.
He hasn't heard
Okay.
about shit. He doesn't even know how many legions there are. Do it.
The Kroot, I'll just say about the Kroot. The Kroot, real quick, are a race of avian birdmen who have this ability to extract genetic information from anything that they eat. Consuming the flesh of people and enemies is part of their culture because they harvest genetic traits and express it from their own bodies, from those that they eat. The biggest political office you hold in their society is that of a master shaper, who is someone who dictates the course of Kroot evolution. So they just head out into the galaxy as mercenary bands to kill and eat as many people as they can in order to control and direct their own evolution. It's fucking cool.
It's like Eat, Pray, Love, except really literal with the one bit. Like you do
Incredibly literal.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
And the funny thing is
they
that
eat
the
prey
Kroot-
and they love it.
Yeah. I gotta say, one of the things that I'm very much appreciating, like, I existing in Warhammer lore for this many years, and also, you know, kind of like surrounded by a community who will call me on every little lore infraction. It's really nice to talk to someone who's just discovering it, because it gives me such a wonderful opportunity to reflect on, hey, that's batshit crazy and also really fucking cool. Because stuff like this is like, it's been every day for me. It's nice to have the opportunity to reflect, is what I'm saying.
So you are the part where I will ostensibly stop being a functioning adult after that. You're enjoying that, is what I'm hearing. Like you're getting something out of that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad.
Oh god, yeah. Absolutely.
It's going great for this guy. I don't know about the rest of you.
I feel like Ak and I have a lot. We've only spoken like a couple of times, but I feel like we have a lot in common.
I feel like one of you generated the other. One of you growth and it fell off. And depending on the order, one of you befriended me on a plane by talking about wrestling, or you started a YouTube channel. But whichever way it went, this should be beautiful. Two halves of the same body reuniting.
It's functionally mitosis.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. The basic form of all living reproduction should be a beautiful thing, but it's really fucking me good. And can't you all see how this is all about me?
I mean,
Planeswalker Agogo in the chat makes a very good point that the Land Raider mainline battle tank, as well as the Land Speeder, is only called that because it was discovered by a tech priest called Arcan Land. It is not simply a raider of land; it is Land's Raider with the apostrophe S that got dumped, much to the angst of Arcan Land himself. That is a lovely little tidbit that I always like.
Warhammer is silly.
It's incredibly silly. And it's not even the silliest part about Arcan Land. I'm sorry, like, I will always be able to do this, always be able to draw, like, another little thing out of it. The silliest part about Arcan Land is that he had a little pet monkey called Simeon that he had recreated from leftover genetic traits and leftover genetic material, as well as sketches of what ancient Earth fauna looked like. Except that there was a lot of debate amongst the Mechanicum Biologus adepts as to what the purpose of the weird tail appendage at the end of the simian creature was. Obviously, the human form is four-legged, bipedal, and simians were clearly some sort of relation to that. But no one in the Mechanicum could figure out exactly what the tail appendage was for. Certain adepts argued that it was simply for moving within sort of arboreal forests. Arcan Land completely disagreed and stated that the only way that this appendage made sense is if it had a stinger inside it that could deliver poison into an enemy. And that's precisely what his monkey had. It had a poison stinger, because that is the state of knowledge in the 40k universe.
Fuck yeah. Now we're cooking with gas. The fucking biology's coming alive for me in a big way. Jacob, I like where your head's at. Just gotta call out when you make a good tactical decision like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I don't know if we still do it. Jacob, do we
Oh
Can
yeah,
we make a good? Do
100%.
we still yell?
Yeah, we absolutely can.
Oculus, if you want to join us or not, but we around here when we make a good tactical decision, like throwing a grenade, which is always a good tactical
It's a
decision.
good tactical decision. Yeah.
We celebrate by just yelling the word tactics.
Tactics.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. You got it.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Got it in one.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Tactics. Very good.
Oh man, I feel it. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. This first stab at this and only stab at this mission is going so well.
Yeah,
Like
first and only.
Like I knew it would from the beginning. There is a question. Jacob, please hop in here. You're also trying to do tactics, which you're doing wonderful at.
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm getting better.
Look at all of our big chunky refrigerator children are doing great. I didn't experience this, but I can imagine another version of this scenario where it might be. Oh my God! See, that's the shit I like to see. So Jacob, just stop me if I'm monopolizing.
No. Don't worry
Our
about
new
it.
friend and my downfall, but I have because I have one question I've been fearing asking to Oculus since I knew you were going to come on the show, which is that Jacob has withheld information from me to try to save my life from myself. A thing that he valiantly did for like half of a week and then failed miserably at
it was like
almost
2
on a
weeks.
180 pirouette. It was amazing where he was like, I'm not going to tell you about this. He constantly is in our friendship will be like, you should not look at this thing. And he means it. He's like, please don't. You're going to go on a deep dive on it, and it's going to like really take a huge chunk out of your life. And I always do it because I don't know what's good for me. And Warhammer was the first time that I went, you know what? I trust you. I love you. You're one of my best friends. I'm not going to do it. And he was genuinely proud of me. He was like, I'm so proud of you. Not doing it. I'm going to protect you from this. I'm not going to tell you about Warhammer. And then fucking, he went to that game store. He came home with like Kill Team or whatever the fuck. And the bulwark of his mind crumbled, and he just started telling me about Warhammer shit. Not all of
Naturally.
it. Not even close. But it went to hell real fast. But one thing he's not told me is I might not even be using the right language. Factions, whatever you call like Orcs, the Grey Knights, the different things you can have your army be. There's one that he thinks I would really, really like, and I don't know what it is or what it's called, and I have restrained myself from even looking up what's available.
So there's 2, and I'll give you 1. The Sisters of Silence.
Ooh.
Can you tell us about that? I'm already fucked at this point. I'm not afraid of you anymore. You can't hurt me anymore, Oculus. I'm already.
Oh, I can
Don't cry for me.
absolutely
I'm
tell
already
you about
dead.
the Sisters of Silence.
Both
Sisters
killing
of
the way that I
Silence.
just said you can't hurt me anymore, and then exactly the way you intoned that made me think he can hurt me a lot more.
I can, because the Sisters of Silence are Horus Heresy era lore for the most part, and that is my jam.
I don't even know
okay.
what those words mean in that order, but it sounds really engaging.
So, basically, 10,000 years before this little timeline that you're playing in, the Emperor had set out from Terra to conquer the entire galaxy in what was known as a Great Crusade. It was about a 200-year period where the entire galaxy was essentially conquered by the Space Marine legions and the various armies of the Imperium. This was all before Chaos had been a thing. This was all before, like any of the really bad shit. The Imperium was still a military regime. It was still completely authoritarian, but it had a more ostensibly progress-orientated view. It was entirely secular. There was no such thing as worship. The Emperor denied that he was a god. It was bringing the clinical light of science and atheism to the benighted galaxy, reuniting all of the lost realms of humanity under the incredibly large golden boot of the Emperor, and if you said no, he would kill you.
What the fuck happened?
A lot of things. That's a whole nother story. But because the Emperor knew a whole lot about how the galaxy worked and wasn't telling everyone about how the galaxy worked, he had to develop certain secret formations that could be deployed should the Imperium encounter something that the Space Marine legions couldn't be trusted to do, and certainly the Imperial Army couldn't be trusted to take care of. One of these was an offshoot of the Astra Telepathica. Specifically, it's Divisio Investigatis, who are more commonly known as the Sisters of Silence.
Cannot harm me.
The psychic gene also has this weird inversion in humanity, which is known as like pariah gene or the null gene. Someone who has this is effectively soulless. Every human, for whatever reason, has this presence in the warp that is, for want of a more scientific term at the time, is known as is basically a soul. They have a psychic immaterial presence. Nulls simply don't, and because of that, they are completely and utterly anathema to psychic powers, to the warp, to demons, to everything like that. Psychic powers like the Grey Knights would simply just not work around them. Null people have this weird field that basically severs psychics around them from connecting to the warp, which is the font of all psychic energy in this universe.
Because it's like a fucked up mind dimension, even though it's...
Exactly. The Sisters of Silence are an all-female division of nothing but null humans. All of them are the most potent anti-psyker soldiery that anyone could ever want in any sort of formation. They are equipped with really esoteric technology, and their whole job is to hunt down psychers from the Imperium that are too powerful to simply be let loose. They also have the job of running what are known at the time. They also have the job of what were known as running the Black Ships, which are special craft that are designed to ferry psychers to parts of the Imperium where they can either be trained or at the very least interred, or at the worst simply executed for being too powerful while being alive. So yeah, it is an all-female fighting force of Baroque armored anti-psyker soulless women. You're welcome.
Now what... Just need a second.
Oh, yeah, do ask any question. Yeah, take it down.
What would you... Jacob, what would you think I would... Well, I don't know what you thought I'd get out of that.
That's number one. What's the second one?
Another
Oh.
vile edifice of
No, I have follow-ups.
Commander.
Okay, follow-up first. Follow-up first.
Everyone, stop the fucking stream. This is not me asking in the sense of why are they all women, because that's one of the key points that Jacob knew would fucking get me, that I think that's dope as hell. What is there a reason canonically why they're all women, or did it just shake out that way?
There does not seem to be any sort of in-canon reason why the Sisters of Silence were a sisterhood. No, it's not that like the null gene expresses itself more strongly in female identifying humans. It's just a thing. The Emperor decided that they were going to be a sisterhood, and that's just how he did.
That's kind of equally as cool as just there being some ancient esoteric reason why, is them just being like having a soul is for dudes. And it fucking
Yeah.
That's actually pretty rad. I don't know what to do with my body. They don't have minis of those, so they're like
They
the
do.
dinosaurs, right? Fuck.
Oh no, they do.
Okay.
They do. They are in game terms tended to be bundled in with the Adeptus Custodes, but they do have miniatures, and they're pretty rad. Forge World actually makes a model for their only transport vehicle, which is called the Charon Pattern Inquisitor, and it is possibly one of my favorite vehicle design models in 40k because it looks like something out of Dune. And I am a massive fan of any interpretation of Frank Herbert's Dune, and this model is the most Dune thing that Warhammer has. I almost just want to get one just to paint it.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
That's
Yeah, that happens.
This
Oh
game
my
is
God.
really that's just right in the pocket of that fucking notebook margin bullshit, isn't it? I could see some metal kid being like, "The fucking Sisters of Silence," and then their stupid bully Brad being like, what are you, a loser? I can't believe you. And just like then them going on to fund a fucking entire like universe and be like, fuck you, Brad. Fuck you. Get on board or get the fuck out. This is still awesome. Why can't you appreciate shit? That's the energy I want to cultivate.
And I mean, the Sisters
Fuck
of Silence,
Brad.
the Sisters of Silence are this big, like, their whole design is based off a couple of sketches that the absolutely perfect artist John Blanche did. They're like, they're all bald except for this massive top knot of hair that they have. They have these metal grills over their mouths because obviously they don't. Yeah. The name Sisters of Silence is completely literal. They take a vow of silence when they enter the sisterhood, and they do not speak until they don't make any sound until until they die. Like they just are completely silent until that point. They don't even scream if they're hurt. They're totally silent. They communicate through sign language only.
Yeah. What's it called? Battle.
There's two versions. There's Battle Mark, which is for combat situations, and then there's Thought Mark, which is much more complicated because they deal in such esoteric subjects. They have to have a sign language that is nuanced enough to talk about, like, a demon came here. I need to be able to talk about this.
I shouldn't have Googled this, guys. I shouldn't have.
No.
You know what? I shouldn't have Googled this.
Are you looking at the art right now? Because it's so cool.
I don't think I'm allowed to post in the chat, or I would do it, but I'm not one of our wonderful moderators. But this is a cool picture that it'd be stupid if I wanted a physical version of in my house. Can you imagine? Yeah, this was a mistake. By this, I mean all of the choices I made to lead me to the point where I was friends with Jacob, and that this whole stream happened. For me, I'm happy you're both. I don't recall saying thank you to anything.
Yeah.
Jacob, I was
Hey.
Googling stuff while you were failing to stop me and also winning the mission. I just want to say congrats.
Thank you.
Your tactical prowess is not unnoticed.
It's because we all yelled tactics. I think there's a cutscene now. Tactics.
Thanks.
Oh, there's a cutscene. God, this is so fucking good. And very bisexual.
Mm-hmm. The warp is bisexual lighting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Throne of terror. Do you sense the emanations?
And purple is an objectively iconic color.
Song of corruption and disease.
Very good.
Maintaining distance. The edict must be protected.
Space Cathedral.
Inquisitor, this plan of yours was predicated
Yeah, that's a
on
craft
the
world.
being dormant.
And so the Eldari remain. Did you truly believe this plague would be similarly docile?
The sons of Titan are not chaff to be deployed recklessly, Inquisitor.
Oh, cease your nursemaiding, knight. Is this not what you were made for? Teleport us in.
The Inquisitor very much acts like an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I feel like this is maybe one of the few things as a Grey Knight maybe you're allowed to be a little scared of, and she's just like, what's the matter? What's the problem? Like a monstrous hell world from an ancient time that's completely fucked over. Are you good? Do your job.
There we
I'm
go.
literally I'm like squirming. I can't sit still. I'm in real trouble.
Did you want to know what the other faction was?
Oh God, please.
No, I want to stop here. Now's the time when I'm going to be responsible.
Yeah. Well,
First off, in my future.
Akash was saying in chat, and I just want to, because, you know, we had one little slip up and like shared some lore with Ryan. He was like, "Oh no, you've ruined my life. This is horrible." But we kept telling him how much we were holding back. And I hope, Ryan, you now see how much we were holding back. We have been protecting you. I completely threw all of that out the window this evening. I mean, I didn't do it. Oculus absolutely did. But I hope you understand what we've done to keep you safe up until this point. Because, oh God, this has been...
It is a well. It is a deep, dark well.
It
Yes.
feels like you let me drink a little poison as a treat. And then when I was flopping around on the ground, kind of like, you know, sputtering and wheezing,
Seeing visions.
and, you know, foaming at the mouth, seeing visions. Exactly. You held a fucking Renaissance era poisoner's kit up to my fucking twitching face, and you're like, see how bad it could have been though. Thank you would be nice, you know. And it's just like,
Well, the only way those Renaissance poisoners survived accidentally killing themselves was by microdosing all of their poisons every day. I'm not sure if that's actually true, if that's apocryphal, but it sounds true.
it feels real, and it's cool enough that I want it to be real.
I know,
plus
that's the thing. It's just so
I'm
badass.
never gonna
that
Google it. Yeah, the problem is that my friends know that when I have a little bit of poison, and if the intention is to give me just a soupçon of cyanide every day till I get good at eating cyanide, I'm gonna be like, you know what cyanide reminds me of? Count Chocula, and then I'm gonna eat a whole bunch of it, really, really fast, and then I'm gonna get a stomach, and also my bone marrow is gonna fucking liquefy and sluice out of my body, or whatever happens when you. Can't you see how all of my choices are really your fault?
Yeah. No, totally on me.
Okay.
I do need to hear what that other faction was, though.
I
Do you want me to go out of the
It's
room?
too fun. It's too fun giving faction overviews. It's too much fun. I gotta hear it.
I'm just trying to get through this this scene, and then I will definitely tell you.
Would it not be prudent
Oh right, because there's all sorts of dialogue going. My bad.
to purify the ship entirely? Ship-wide systems infection could cripple our progress.
With all due respect, Purify, we cannot afford to sit on our hands while the bloom spreads unchallenged.
It's like our mom's coming to visit, and we gotta really hurriedly clean the car.
Purify the entire ship.
What does purify mean in this context? Just
Oh, well, so there's Gellerpox. We have less servitors now to build shit. So we can deconstruct the augmentation chamber. We can purify the entire ship, which I think means we don't move, or we purge the servitors and keep moving. I would like to keep the servitors, so I think we'll just purify the whole ship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get them some airborne.
Immobilize
and some
20
Pedialyte.
days.
This poison has been purified from the ship.
This is the closest thing to sick days that anyone in the fucking Grey Knights ever gets, I imagine.
Well, it
so.
probably means we're going to miss 3 missions. I was advancing time so that our good people could get up. Yes. So, and I have to run and pee really quick. But let me tell you what that other faction was. The Adeptus Sororitas.
Before you go to bed, just say goodbye, because when you come back, I assume I'll be gone.
Oh,
He'll be
The
dead.
person you know.
I'm going to keep my headphones on. I'm not going to miss this. I just have to pee. So, there you go. Fire away.
The Adeptus Sororitas are also known as the Sisters of Battle, not to be confused with the Sisters of Silence, who are another thing entirely. The Adeptus Sororitas are basically what happens if you take super Catholic nuns and you give them guns. It's badass. They are wearing cathedrals and Catholic font for armor. They're driving around with flamer tanks. It's just cool. No, the Sisters of Battle are wicked. They were a faction formed after a tyrant essentially took over the entirety of the Imperium, centralized a lot of its various bodies under his own rule, and did so with the aid of a little formation that he developed called the Daughters of the Emperor, which were like sworn all-female zealots that just followed him. One of their number, Alicia Dominica, basically had to turn on him after she was brought, apparently, before the Emperor himself on the Golden Throne by members of the Custodes. And she saw the light and then turned up and killed the tyrant Goj Van Dyer. And ever since then, the Church of the Emperor has kept the Sisters of Battle, the Adeptus Sororitas, as essentially its militant wing.
That's the militant wing. What's all the other shit? What's all the other stuff in armored clomping around the galaxy? Like,
Well, actually, let me clarify that. this whole era meant that the Adeptus Ministorum, the Church of the Emperor, was not actually allowed to have any sort of militant wing. But at the same time, it entered into an agreement with the Imperium whereby the Adeptus Sororitas would basically be like the army of faith for the Imperium. The Space Marines do not believe the Emperor is a god. The Sororitas absolutely believe the Emperor is a god.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else about the Sisters of Battle? Oh, they'll occasionally insert into a battlefield in what can basically be described as orbital drop cathedrals. It's just truly one of my favorite aspects of all Warhammer, in that Sisters of Battle dropships are basically mobile fortresses that are just full of Gothic architecture, so they're orbital drop cathedrals.
Really fucking good.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so mad, but I don't know where to point it.
They also have they also have these war suits that they ride around in, called Paragon war suits.
Oculus, you don't have to do this. You can
Because no,
humanity.
because they're basically mechas, I like to refer to them as nundums.
Yeah.
It's right there. I can't not.
I like you very much.
The closest I've ever gotten to starting a 40k army up again, because I play basically every system except the actual Warhammer game, is thanks to nundums.
Oh, Oculus, I enjoy your company a great deal. Skylar,
I feel like Yakko Warnering out of the place after that. Just like, good night, everybody.
Good night. Well, actually, we have to wrap up. So
that is fair.
I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together. But before we close, you have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell these folks what where to find your YouTube channel, where to find you on the internet, because people should absolutely follow you. You are a fucking delight.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you very much for having me along. Thank you for letting me not only spout about Warhammer lore for 2 hours, but also finish the night on nundums. I can be found on YouTube. It's Oculus Imperia. I do about 2 videos every month of varying length and varying themes. A lot of my stuff is Horus Heresy based, but I also do plenty of stuff from the 40k universe. The one criticism I've gotten, which is pretty valid, is that it might not necessarily be beginner friendly. If that is the case, let me know, because I've been kicking around an idea of doing like a 40k lore for acolytes thing for a while, so that's a big maybe. Anyway, I'm on YouTube at Oculus Imperia. I'm also on Twitter, also at Oculus Imperia. My old username used to be at Buttstuff Kaiju, which I insisted that I would never change, but then did because I guess I'm a coward. Yeah, I'm on both of those illustrious platforms. So yeah, watch my stuff if you like Warhammer lore.
Yeah, and I'm
thank you Ocelot for very handily putting the links in the chat. That's very helpful.
The mods around here are great about that stuff.
Yeah, our mods are fantastic. So thank you very much for being mods, and thank you to the mods. Yes. Always thank your mods. Ryan, did you have a good time?
That's the end of my statement.
So, do you want to tell people where to find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find the old me in a shallow grave outside my local game store. Just root through the wallet until you find like my passport or my ID or something, and just try to kind of match up the picture with what you remember. You can take a screenshot right now if you want. Yeah, something like that. If you want to engage with the person that I was, which was a game composer and somebody who's very passionate about helping creative freelancers, especially game audio people, but also especially game people, but also just kind of anyone who wants to work in a creative industry of any kind and be solo, be freelance, and not have it be the worst. I'm on Twitter at RyanComposer, this version of me, and I was on / that version will remain on Instagram at RyanAudio, where I largely talk about that kind of thing, how to get into the game industry, how to stay in it without it being the worst thing in the world, how to not burn out, how to find work, that kind of stuff. And the kind of new phase that I'm gonna embark on can be found, just squatting naked and feral in a cave somewhere with a pile of source books and just kind of eating raw chicken heads out of a bag that I foraged. The heads and the bag.
Should just go for the novels.
Oh no, the source books are so good.
They are actually very good. Yeah. I
have options.
Yo.
There's so many options. There's so many options.
So many options. So many options. And if you followed Oculus Imperia here to bask in his wonderful presence, you can find out what we're about. We're Yizbird Games. We're an indie game publisher. You can check us out at yizbird.net. You can join our Discord if you want to talk about Warhammer and a bunch of other nerdy shit, because we have a super nerdy community, which is fantastic, at discord.gg/yizbirdgames. Thank you so fucking much for being here. Yeah, huge thank you to our mods. You're all absolutely fantastic. Oculus, I am 110%, just as an added thank you, going to throw every single game that we publish at you. In the copious amounts of free time with a day job, recently, I believe, having gotten married to your husband, and a
Thank you.
a YouTube channel, a very successful YouTube channel. I'm sure you have copious amounts of free time to play them all, especially with the Warhammering that you get up to.
Don't forget all the time you need to spend processing the guilt of what you've done.
Yeah.
What
Here
guilt?
today. Okay.
Yeah, there'll be.
Interesting.
You have an Irishman and a Jew that feel no guilt about this tonight, and that should worry you.
I thought your various religions and backgrounds were supposed to fucking save me from this. What happened to that shit?
Nope. Sorry,
I
bud.
emigrated. That's what happened to that.
Yep. Same here. As a matter of fact, I have my citizenship ceremony next week
Oh, congratulations.
for Canada. Thank you.
It's a huge milestone. If I get over to Victoria, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh, please do.
I was there last year. It was so nice. Let's go back.
If you come back, I will show you a good damn time.
Yay.
Yeah, I would absolutely, I would fucking love that.
When the sky turns blood red, we'll all know that that's happening, so you won't even need to ask either of them.
And if you want a little bit more Warhammer, I'm going to be playing Kill Team for the first time tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Over on the Loading Ready Run channel with my works. Yeah,
Look
my
beautiful.
friends.
I think Java's wonderful, and y'all should tune in and see, just for the artistry alone. Like, they look really good.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. They're I painted 3 minis in my life before I painted them.
Fuck you,
But thank you. Yeah, dude, it's a thing called contrast paint. It's magic.
Yes.
Like
Contrast is magic.
yeah, contrast paint is magic. So yeah, you could fucking literally just dip them in the paint and be like, that's gorgeous. Yeah,
Take
it's
the fucking compliment. You
no,
monster.
I do, I absolutely do. Thank you very much. But like, don't ever, if you're gonna start painting minis, don't ever look at anybody else's minis. Just be happy with what you've done and never look at anybody else's.
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
No worries there. I'll never be happy again. But
Fair. Oculus, again, thank you so much for being here.
Seriously.
I hope you had a good time.
I had the best time. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. You are.
Going.
You'd be welcome anytime, and please let me know if you're ever in Victoria. I will happily take you out to dinner. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of others, and keep your spirits up. We'll see you around the Discord, and we'll see you this Thursday with myself and Meredith Gerber for Yakuza Like a Dragon. Good night, everybody.
Bye forever.
Bye.
Bye.